farm and the piece of commercial real estate he bought in New York. Whether you're talking about a dividend stock or a farm, there are plenty of universal investing principles. There are also two basic types of investments that produce and investments that don't. That means you have three ways to make money when you invest. 1, you can make money from what the investment produces. 2, you can make money from what the investment becomes worth. And 3, you can make money from a combination of the two. That covers any investment I can think of. The terms may change, but in the end, you'll be earning money on one of the above 3 ways. The stock market gives you the opportunity to use one or all of these ways to make money, and so do plenty of other investment opportunities. Back to what Buffett says about his 2 non-stock investments mentioned earlier. Quote, "With my 2 small investments, I thought only of what the properties would produce and cared not at all about their daily valuations," end quote. According to Buffett, what an investment produces is much more valuable than what the investment itself is actually worth. This idea is easily explained in the stock market by looking at dividend stocks. But how do other types of investments produce? Investments can produce in several ways. A farm produces a crop, meat, dairy, or something along those lines. Real estate can produce cash flow through rental income. There are all kinds of ways investments produce. Let's look at one more universal investing principle from Buffett, and then we'll get into how you can start investing without the stock market. Quote, "My 2 purchases were made in 1986 and 1993. What the economy, interest rates, or the stock market might do in the years immediately following 1987 and 1994 was of no importance to me in making those investments. I can't remember what the headlines or pundits were saying at the time. Whatever the chatter, corn would keep growing in Nebraska and students would flock to NYU," end quote. It's funny how these ideas that are often thought of as stock market investing tips can span asset classes. That's my point. Look at most investing principles universally and apply the principles to the following ideas. Investing without the stock market. I thought this was an interesting article because it's great to consider some alternative narratives when it comes to investing strategies. While I agree that you can invest outside the stock market, fear over the dollar collapsing as rationale to not invest in the stock market seems like a weak argument to me. And Kalin even says himself later in the article that if the dollar actually collapses, it would affect all investments. So again, this isn't a good reason to not invest in stocks. The other reason stated here is the need to diversify. But I've felt for myself that I've been able to achieve the diversity I need through a combination of index funds, cash, real estate, and eventually I'll add bonds to my portfolio. It's pretty common knowledge that investing in the stock market with discipline and patience over decades is generally the best way to build wealth because returns in the stock market have generally outperformed other asset classes over the long term. While I have explored diversifying into other assets over time, for me personally, fully leveraging tax-advantaged retirement vehicles was the best place to start investing. The tax advantages plus employer match plus the relatively low effort it takes to invest your money this way is too good to pass up. I mention this because I worry this article sends the impression that you shouldn't invest in the stock market, and I strongly disagree with that. Furthermore, Kalin makes a statement about investing in skills and friends, which is important for ensuring that we're in a position to earn an income. But I don't think that we can replace the need we all have to invest the money we earn, because then we'll be forever required to trade time for money. In order to build real wealth, we need to get our money working for us. Well, that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day and great weekend, and I'll see you on the Sunday show tomorrow, where we'll finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits. Thanks to Anchor for hosting this podcast. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast too with no minimum listenership. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1603, How I Hired the Best People in the World to Make Me Rich, and the Coffee Couch Cacophony. both by Mr. 1500 of 1500days.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is the show where I narrate posts from your favorite personal finance bloggers, with their permission, of course. It's as if these authors all wrote these amazing songs, and I get to perform the covers. Today, I'm featuring a new website for the show. The creator of the site, Mr. 1500, has been featured a couple of times before as a guest writer on sites like Budgets Are Sexy. But we got permission to narrate straight from his own site. So with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. How I have time for it with my job? Quit. My father is sick and I need to take care